Good evening, my brothers and sisters. This is the Wednesday before we begin. It's definitely a very different Holy Week for myself and obviously for all of us because of the current situation with the virus. At the same time, we have to ask ourselves, what can we draw from the differences between this year and last year? And in those differences, what is God going to do in my life and in your life to strengthen His relationship with us and our relationship with Him? These are all things we get an opportunity to meditate on and to think about, especially with the radical differences from a normal Holy Week. And this is where I'd like to break into the scripture after posing these ideas to think about. It's interesting, every year I go through similar emotions, especially in today's gospel reading. Jesus knows that Judas betrayed him. So why doesn't Jesus just get up, slap him, tell him to leave, and they move on with the Last Supper, and things just, okay, this isn't going to happen. Why? Why does God allow it to happen? Why does God allow Himself to suffer in the passion and death of His Son, Jesus? That's the question we have to ask ourselves. Because right now, we are suffering. It's interesting, you text friends, text family, and so on and so forth, and some of them haven't left their house in 3 weeks. Not even to go for a walk. That just boggles my mind. But that's where they're at. So how can we, as their loved ones, lift them up to the Lord and ask the Lord to be with them during this time where they feel abandoned? Because I know there are times where I feel abandoned. There are times where I'm angry and I'm frustrated. But do I take that time every day to ask God, how can this make me a better follower of you? And I do. Sometimes it happens in the morning, sometimes it happens midday, sometimes it even happens at night. But I do ask those questions. Because see, as we dive into the scriptures today and as we dive into what's going on with Judas, and Jesus says it is better for him not to have been born. Those are some big words. Those are some heavy words. But think about it. There are ways that we, in a sense, look for ways to sabotage our own relationships with Jesus. I do it, you do it, we all do it. Because we're human, we're frail. But during this time, my brothers and sisters, where we have time to be with ourselves, we need to allow ourselves to focus on our relationship with God. It's okay to turn off the TV. It's okay to turn off the internet and just to be with Him. As I'm saying this, I know I'm being streamed, right, on YouTube. That kind of makes me laugh. Because I would much rather prefer thousands of people because we believe in Jesus. We believe in our relationship with Him, which is this: But we also believe in communion, which is this. And without both, you don't have the fullness of the cross. At the same time, without both, you see the suffering that happens. So in closing, I would encourage you, my brothers and sisters, don't betray yourself. Talk to Jesus every day about everything. Write it down in a prayer journal. Start now. And then, God willing, a year from now, 2 years from now, you're going to look back and go, so that's what God did to strengthen my relationship with him. And I didn't even realize it was happening. That's what I needed to correct in my life to make my relationship better with God, so I could receive the grace I needed to know him better. My brothers and sisters, that's hope. That's my hope and my prayer for you every day. That through this time, your relationship with God is growing ever stronger. And two, your relationship with each other is growing ever stronger by FaceTiming, by doing those things and communicating with people whom you love. And even those you don't love so much, but you're trying to build a better relationship. Because at the end of the day, my brothers and sisters, we know that at the end of this supper in the Garden of Gethsemane, Judas hands him over with a kiss. We also know that he agonizes in this same garden. We know that he gets hauled back in chains, gets scourged and put on that cross. But he does it for us. So let us celebrate this Holy Week in anticipation of the resurrection, so that we can feel the grace of his resurrection on Sunday and come to truly know what it is to be a disciple of Jesus.